So welcome back to my channel, Moving Forward Talk with Dr. Diana Clark. I am your host. This is a space where we share stories of struggle, growth, and healing with hopes of encouraging those who may be walking similar season in life. This week, it is my honor to welcome a guest who has worn many hats throughout his life. He is from Jersey City, New Jersey, a former boxer and martial art competitor, a YouTuber, content creator, by the way, a content creator on various platforms, and most importantly, a father. Mr. Tony Harvin, it is a pleasure to have you in Moving Forward Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. But beyond the titles and the accomplishment is a man with experiences that have shaped his perspective on faith, discipline, resilience, purpose, and personal growth. Mr. Tony, for those who may not know you, and there's a lot of people who know you from across the platform, who is Tony away from the platform? Who is that man behind the platform?
Well, yeah, I'm just a calm, collective, cool type of person. I like to stay to myself, but of course, I give off encouragement to the people when necessary. I like to be, a great father. I like fatherhood. I enjoy fatherhood, parenting, and stuff like that. And I just like the positive things in life and staying away from negative stuff.
Fatherhood. I like that. I like fatherhood. How has your definition of who you are changed over the years?
I mean, over the years, well, for me, getting older, I feel as though I'm getting wiser. Um, you know, using my mind more so than just actions first, thinking before I do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, making sure I'm making the right decision upon whatever I got going on in my life, whether it's job, whether it's school, whether it's putting kids through college or whatever. Just thinking more so and being more wiser in a lot of situations, especially you know certain hostile situations. Thinking about those things. So over time, over the years, I became more mature, more relaxed.
And what is one thing you wish folks understood about you from the Tony that they see online?
Um, I'm just I got a good sense of humor. I like to laugh. I mean, I may look mean or firm in certain pictures and videos and stuff like that, but I'm just an actual fun type of person in general. I just like to have fun and like to laugh.
So that truth is get to know the person, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you grew up in Jersey City. What was the biggest lesson the streets of Jersey City taught you that still shapes the man you are today?
Staying away from negativity. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I had to leave former friends because they was involved in, bad things, mischievous things. And of course, like a lot of others from the inner cities, you grow up without a father, but you come across a father figure, whether it's a football coach or basketball coach or anything like that, and they can give you some guidance to, how to become and shaping you to develop, become a man, you know.
What was a daily, what was a daily life like?
Uh, as a kid, going outside after school, of course, doing your homework, whatever. Just having fun with my friends and playing basketball, football. But of course, over time, Jersey City has changed a lot. You can't even have your kids outside because of a bunch of violence and a bunch of nonsense. But back in those days, we had a lot of fun going to school, recreational programs, whether it was basketball, baseball, the boxing, track. There was a lot of recreational activities with the PAL and stuff like that. But in these days, it don't seem like it's like that anymore.
Awesome. So there's a lot of changes, positive.
Absolutely.
While you were growing up, what is one lesson you wish you had not learned?
What is one lesson I wish I have not learned? Hmm.
Yes.
That's a good one. I might have to come back to that. I might have to come back to that question.
Okay, that's always a good one, right? Were there times in life when you look back, were there times in life when you think that probably you're not going to make it out? You're just not going to make it.
Oh, absolutely. I would say high school.
Mhm.
That was a situation that happened where, I mean, I got arrested, and the guidance counselors, when we had also CITs in high school, I feel as though they wasn't, guiding me or giving me no type of guidance
Mhm.
on top of not having a father figure. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what was going to come into to play in my life or anything like that. But over time, as I said earlier, I got wiser
Mhm.
and I started thinking more and looking into more things to do as far as like college or truck driving or law enforcement and stuff like that, and getting away from the negativity, getting away from the noise. You know what I mean? And really thinking and really learning myself as time progressed.
So even then, you know that must be a change, and you were willing to take that path, whatever it took.
Yeah, it took a while. It was a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? That when I really got it together, but I got it together.
You got it
Time.
together. And that's what counts, right? Not where we start, but where we finish.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have competed in boxing and in martial arts. How did those experience shapes how you define discipline, physical strength, and emotional strength and spiritual strength?
Well, in general, whether it's boxing or martial arts, boxing is more like really martial arts is more so like thinking,
Mhm.
technical.
Mhm.
Um, you may be in a situation. Um, Martial arts teach you more so to the best way to win is to walk away. You understand? You don't need to engage unless it's like a life or death situation. You know what I mean? Where still you have to defend yourself, even in the spiritual sense. You know, you don't use more so in a physical manner, but you go into prayer. You go into fasting, or you go to church and you hear the word and stuff like that to come back in a spiritual sense, because everything is not physical. It could be a spiritual battle. Whereas though I can't use my hands or legs or wrestle or anything like that. You have to go into deep prayer and deep talking to God about certain situations in life.
Right. We're wrestling not against the flesh and blood, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I heard you say sometimes it's not about using the physical. Were there ever a time during your boxing career where you find yourself actually not fighting the opponent, but you're fighting something inside yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I would say anger. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Always often wanting to. I could just wake up one day before and I just want to fight. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? But I learned that it's not all about that. You know what I mean? It's more soothing to go into prayer. You know what I mean? And to try to, be delivered from that angry spirit. Of course, it's justified that we get angry, and sin not or whatever. But my anger back then was like rage, just because, But I've gotten better throughout the years.
Just because, no reason, no rhyme or reason, just because you woke up and something not going right. Rage.
Yeah.
What is the hardest punch that Tony ever had to recover from that wasn't thrown inside a ring?
Um, hmm, it's a good question. The hardest punch. Um, I would say, if you're talking about something like general emotional, physical
Right.
sickness and stuff like that, or
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to say heart murmur at one point.
Hmm.
I want to say that, because that's a serious situation. But over time, it went away. You know what I'm saying? When I spoke about praying and stuff like that,
Mhm.
out the blue. it just went away. It could be scary when you hear, what's going on with your heart and, you know, but when you pray, because a lot of times no doctors can fix certain situations, or they may be performing certain tests and doing certain surgeries and it still doesn't work. But with the snap of a finger, if you're really sincere about praying and wanting to be healed, it could happen.
Most definitely. And so I hear that you are praying Black man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
I watched you on social media. I followed you in a couple of your pages. And I must say, I don't follow from this channel, I don't think, but I follow from Move Beyond channel. And I know that you're a father,
yes.
and you spoke about that earlier. How did becoming a father change the way Tony saw himself?
When I first heard the news of my first child being born, it can change you in a way as far as like now you want to do better. Now you have something to live for. Now you got quality time that you can utilize to build a relationship with your child or children at the end of the day. And it's a great feeling. Yeah, I mean, it can shape you to be a great person as a man and also as a father, which you didn't have, coming up. You want to be a better father every day. I mean, you can be a good father, but there's always room to get better and better every day.
So not having your own father in your life shaped the way that you now father your children.
Absolutely. I mean, it didn't bother me coming up because I didn't really think about it. But when I think about it, when I first had my first child in my early 20s,
Mhm.
I said to myself, I don't want to be like, men like that, deadbeats. I don't want to be that way.
Yeah. What's one lesson you hope your children never have to learn the hard way?
Um, Struggling.
Struggling.
Yeah, so that's why I come into play to make sure they don't have to struggle. Show them guidance
Mhm.
on how to help themselves. Going to college or if they want to go to the military or whatever they want to do. As far as like on a positive level, I'm here
Right.
to guide.
Mhm. Tony, I'm led to ask you to define struggling because for viewers, struggling may look different for everyone. So when you say struggling, what do you mean?
It could be with the life choices as
Mhm.
far as like what you do in life. It could be financially not there. You understand? It could be with the mentals of what's going on in the environment that we grew up in. What they see on TV. Shun them away from negative stuff and negative people. You know.
So here are a few fun fact question. No need to think about it. Coffee or tea for Tony?
T.
Early bird or a night owl?
Hmm. Early, because I'm a truck driver. I get up early.
Okay. One word your children use to describe their dad.
Um. Hmm. Strict.
Strict.
Yeah. Strict.
Great. So you spend a lot of time on speaking to people online. And I love the episodes when, with pastors.
Yeah.
What led you to that? Especially with Pastor Jenkins, Gino Jenkins. What led you to that?
Well, my mind is like creative. Sometimes, a lot of
Yeah,
things come to mind to create or come up with or show or
yeah.
to talk about. It just come to my head out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? How I came across him was through YouTube, just searching YouTube in 2014.
Mhm.
know? So that's how that came about. I decided to post in 2016 on
Yeah.
my study pieces. And hey, as people just started watching it, I wasn't looking for none of that.
Okay.
But it happened.
It happened. Great. What do you think social media gets right in this moment? Do you think, and what do you think that they're getting dangerously wrong, especially toward our young people?
What do they get right? Social media. I mean, of course, a lot of things could
Mhm.
be used for positive, but there's a lot of stuff on social media that I see is like negative. I mean,
Right.
some people's positive, you know, you could find jobs on social media.
Mhm.
Some people give advice like, doctors or physicians. Um, what else is out there to promote your business? You could utilize that for those who coming out of prison and they need a job or something like that.
Mhm.
You go to social media, build a platform and, become successful because sometimes I know it can be rough coming out of prison, looking for work. And this is another way, I guess, individuals could, feed their
Mhm.
family in a manner. The negative stuff is putting out entertaining lies. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? That love to hear. And that's what a lot of people probably get wrong at. They spend a lot of time on social media for negative reasons versus the positive reasons. You know what I mean? I'm a social media person, but I'm not a social media person. I'm not on Facebook 24/7 just looking at a bunch of nonsense. If I'm on Facebook, it's probably for maybe 30 minutes tops a day. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that goes with a lot of other platforms. It just becomes secondhand to create things and just to put it out there on social media for me. But I don't try to focus on negative stuff. I try to focus on the positive things that I can put out.
Right. And so I guess it's up to viewers, social media viewers to choose what resonates with them, whether it be positive or negative.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You laugh, Tony. What's going through your mind?
I mean, it's the social media thing,
Yeah.
it's a lot of negative stuff, a lot of this gossip, a lot of gossip going on. And I just like to talk positive. Sometimes, I give out a news article or anything like that, but I don't never put nothing up like negative or anything like that, even before going to church, you know?
And I was going to mention that because I was listening to you a couple of days ago, and you said even from you were 10 years old, you knew right from wrong. And I was at work just laughing. And I don't know why I was laughing so hard. My
Hmm.
coworker thought my coworker had to ask me, hold on, what's going on over there? But you mentioned in that even since you were 10 years old, you knew right from wrong. And I think that was related to Skittles, right? Even though you weren't a Christian yet.
Yeah.
How do you stay authentic in a world that often rewards attention more than truth?
Hmm. Um, Staying focused, staying really in the word and wanting to do better, not going in with the in crowd.
Right.
Understand? I mean, attention, there's a lot of individuals who get high of attention. I don't know why at the end of the day, but that's what I think. That's another negative part to social media, what we was talking about earlier. So I became accustomed to the foundation of social media, what a lot of people like on social media, which is negative stuff, and what I'm going to be about. Because a lot of people from Jersey City, they know who I am. So if I put out something foolish and stupid, they're like,
Mhm.
that's not, you know what I mean? We know him as a calm, collective type of guy. So I'm going to just be me at the end of the day versus trying to be like, or trying to be something that I'm not.
Right. So, boxing or martial arts?
Um, Boxing, it's more gritty.
Tell me a little bit
Yeah.
more about that. It's more gritty.
Um, it's more so parallel to a street fight. It's more conditioning.
Mhm.
You got to dig deep.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. A lot of people don't know how it feels to get hit by somebody who can hit. You And it runs parallel to life. You know, sometimes you may be in, you know, a fight. You may have to dig deep in life.
Mhm.
You know, people lose a job, some people lose a family member, or you may get a serious sickness. That's a fight you're going through.
Mhm.
Are you going to give up? Or are you going to keep fighting? You understand? So that's how I run it parallel to, you know, life.
Great comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what's your cheat meal?
Man, that's a good question. I love me some fried chicken. You know, I love me some fried chicken, um, rice and beans. I don't really eat crazy, but that fried chicken gets me. You know, not too much of it is good, but
Yeah.
that's my go-to right there. Whenever it's time to have a cheat day.
And how do Tony reset?
Um, you know, I try to still, you know, follow my what I do every day. You know, vitamins, a lot of water. Um, what else I do? I more so like to eat peanut butter sandwiches versus like uh, bacon and stuff like that. Although I do like bacon,
Mhm.
I try my best because as I'm getting older, my appetite is increasing more and more. So that's a fight too, you know, as far as like eating. But I think I'm doing pretty well. But it can be hard to reset at times, you know.
Yeah.
But you gotta be real disciplined. It takes years and years to get that way. It's overnight.
Yeah. So we're back to the regular questions now. Many people carry wounds from childhood or from growing up in different or difficult environment, which we touch a little bit about that. What did healing look like for you? And what was the hardest part of that journey?
Um, coming up, I didn't really have like too much mental hurt or anything like that. Just you know, you may think about it as a kid, where's your father or whatever.
Mm.
But it didn't really bother me because I was, you know, too busy doing like certain activities and stuff like that. I was even working at when I was young. You know, when it snowed, we was out there making money, or I would work with my uncle as a carpenter or whatever. So my mind was taken off a lot with that. But when you think about it, you're like, why wasn't he there? But I forgave him, you know, when I got older or whatever. But the healing process is it takes time. It takes time. But when you get older and they trying to get back into your life and they still try to see you as, you know, little Tony, you really got to sit down and have conversation with them. Like you can't see me like that anymore. I'm grown. I'm older now.
Mhm.
I'm 42 years of age. That time has passed. Two individuals, mother, uh, daughter, or father and son. You got to move on. You got to grow
Yeah.
and you know overlook. Don't forget it, but of course grow from that.
Yeah. We can't move forward if we're still carrying all the baggage, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Healing isn't a destination, it's often a lifelong process.
Mm.
What are some things, if there's any, that you are still healing from today?
Mental, emotionally, not really nothing. Yeah, I mean, when I moved away from Jersey, I had a lot of time to really learn myself and really study myself a couple years and, you know, not thinking about the negative stuff, you know, forgiving people. I think that's a main part of healing if it's with another person or other people out there. You got to learn how to really forgive from the heart at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You keep them at a distance, of course, but one has to learn how to forgive people.
Yeah. And could I add to that with your permission?
Sure.
And also forgiving ourselves. We have to learn to forgive
Oh,
ourselves.
absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, Tony, sometimes the little girl in me sit back and look at the person who I've become and still becoming. Do you think the little boy who grew up in Jersey City would recognize the man sitting here today?
No, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause when I was young, like everybody want to be a ball player, like Michael Jordan, stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I didn't think I would be, talking to the public on social media or media in general.
Yeah.
I had no intentions of that, but it's a good thing though that,
Mhm.
it turned out this way.
The good thing it turned out this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you're a man of prayer, you're a praying man, you're a man of faith, you're a Christian man, and faith is significant part of your platform. How has your relationship with God evolved through your struggles?
Well, one has to really have serious faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't just open the Bible or just listen to a preacher at the end of the day. You got to develop a relationship. You know what I mean? And you can't just pray for things you want material wise, like money or a job or anything like that. You want to pray for, wisdom or more growth in the word or understanding to the word or, get better as a person. You know what I mean? We're trying to scrub ourselves spiritually at the end of the day, like you mentioned earlier, as far as like in this type of world we live in, it's rough. It could be rough, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual sense.
We wrestle every day, every
Yeah,
minute, every second of the day.
absolutely.
Yeah. What has pain taught you about God that comfort never could?
Could you repeat the question, please?
What has pain taught you about God that comfort never could?
You said pain.
Yeah.
Knowing that God is there to heal you. You know what I mean? And then after the healing, you think about it, then the comfort comes.
Mhm.
We have a comforter, as it's explained in the scriptures and stuff like that, man. And that's one of the best feelings, if not the best feeling. You know what I mean? Knowing that you have God there for you in any situation.
So here's the fun fact question. Running or hard workout? Intense workout.
Running, running, very therapeutic,
Mhm.
running for a long time, just zoning out, thinking about life and life, appreciating your family and stuff like that.
Um, so speed run, jogging, or in between?
Um, Jogging.
Jogging.
Yeah, jogging.
So you have lived several chapters as a fighter, a father, and a content creator. When people look back at your life, what do you hope they'll remember?
Um, I would hope they remember that. Of course, I was a good father. I tried my best to help encourage other people in general.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Being positive because you never know who might need to hear your voice to help them out throughout the day. Those who have platforms, whether on social media or in general, we have skill and talent, to our voice can help the next person, even if it's just one person throughout the world. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have the talent for. Even with, what you're doing, you're helping out others, what I'm saying, to be encouraged, to be inspired at the end of the day. Because a lot of times people rather hear from individuals over social media, somebody that they know of but don't know too much versus their own family or close friends.
Yeah. If you could sit across your younger version of yourself, the version of before you became successful, before all the lessons you have learned, what would you tell him?
Um, Follow your dream. Um, don't give up
Mhm.
so easy.
Yeah.
So I would tell them don't give up so easily. A lot of times, people can get discouraged if they happen to go to college or the military. They give up easy.
Mm.
But I would tell him, listen, just keep striving. Don't listen to people, because there's a lot of people out there that could be very discouraging because they see the potential in you. They don't want to see you be successful in life. And the environment we come from, there's rarely anybody, giving us kids guidance. So I would also instill a lot of guidance to proceed on positive things in life.
Yeah. Is there anything you would tell him not to fear?
Failure. I mean, if you fall, keep fighting hard to get back up again
Mhm.
in life, you know.
Back to fun fact question. What is your favorite motivational quote?
I would say, I don't know if it's Bruce Lee. I think I quoted earlier, the best way to win a fight is to walk away. It was another one. Uh, the time to strike is when an opportunity presents itself. That was by one of my teachers in martial arts. Uh, I think those two quotes right there.
Great quotes. So on moving forward talk, because everyone reaches a point where we decide to have whether or not to remain stuck or to keep moving. Looking back on your life, what almost stopped you from moving forward? And what gave you the courage to not remain stuck?
Probably people. Probably people. I would say that certain people I've dealt with. If I'm proceeding on doing what I'm doing, as far as like whether it's a job or whether it's social media, they can take a lot of time away from you. You know what I mean? And it's not that they're encouraging you. They're trying to get you away from what you're set for. And a lot of people who can pull a person down, you got to get away from those type of people in order to grow and to better yourself. So I would say that, getting away from those type of negative people.
And in terms of legacy, if your grandchildren, 35 years from now, your grandkids happen to watch this video, what would you want them to learn from it?
I want them to learn to better themselves every day as a person, whether your father, your mother, you're striving for your career goals. Um, Encourage people. Of course, there's going to be mean people out here, wicked people out here, and things like that. Certain situations you got to walk away from. Don't even engage in a lot of foolishness out here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of stuff going on that can if you make a wrong mistake, even the slightest mistake, you'll be in prison for life. So all the things that you have done positive, doesn't matter if you're a good person. Doesn't matter if it's me. If I make one wrong mistake, they could just take you away from your family, away what you have worked hard for. So stay away from that type of stuff and keep God first.
Absolutely. One mistake can change the whole trajectory of life.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it doesn't matter about the 99 good things you did. That one mistake erased it.
That's true. That is
Yeah.
true.
If someone is watching this video right now and they feel stuck, discouraged, or trapped by their past, what would you want to say to that person directly?
Uh, Seek God. That's number one. Go to them scriptures. Get down in prayer. Surround yourself with some positive people who can help encourage that individual. Because a lot of times, a lot of that mental stuff can come from the stuff we watch, the people we're around, and seeing failure a lot. A lot of us have failed a whole lot of times, but we get tired and just say forget about it and get discouraged. But as I stated earlier, you gotta get back up. You gotta pick yourself back up because them failures could be strengthening you for what's next. You know.
Yes. So one more fun fact question. We're at the end. How would your friends describe you? One word.
Um, and I know you interviewed Clark. You know him.
Yeah,
Um, Probably say he's quiet, but he's a real dude.
yeah,
More authentic.
yeah,
You know, I will say that.
yeah. Clark spoke highly of you when he recommended you. Say, whatever you do, you have to reach out to my friend. I said, I am. And I'm so appreciative. That is
No
how the
problem.
network, that is how we build the network. That is how the connection is made. And most importantly, when we all have like vision, like goal, right? To encourage, to carry each other with us or others with us. And what resonates with me saying this, and I should have asked you, what's your favorite Bible verse?
Um, Good question. The first Bible verse I came across that I liked, I think it was Romans 6:23. I think it
Yeah.
was that.
Okay.
About I think it's what for the wages of sin is death or something like that.
For the gift of God is eternal life.
Oh yeah, that was the
Yeah.
first scripture that captured me when I came back to church in my 20s. That right there. Yeah,
Yeah. And I always refer to finish what I was saying, that we encourage each other. I always refer to Luke 22:32
Mhm.
when he told Peter, when you're converted, strengthen your brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Mr. Tony, what is next for you moving forward?
What is next for me is to keep pushing the social medias. I kind of thought about writing a movie, maybe. That takes a lot of time. I know I did it in high school, but I'm trying to get that back, you know. But we'll see. Of course, that takes a lot of patience, people who are trustworthy and who would, devote their time to that whenever the script is written and copywritten, of course. And we'll see. We'll definitely see. I think that would be a good thing. But of course, I would hope to have it up maybe the next couple of years. We shall see.
So, one of your number one cheerleaders on that.
Pardon me?
I'm one of your number one cheerleaders on that.
Appreciate
Yeah. Yeah. I always love to encourage, hey, you have that dream, you can do it.
Absolutely. Thank
No,
you.
nothing stands between us and our dream but ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So Tony, thank you again for being here and for sharing with us and moving forward talk. If this conversation encouraged you, inspired you, or even remind you that you're not alone, please like, share, and comment and subscribe to our page. Tony, is there anything you want to talk about your page?
My page, YouTube, Tony Harvin, Tony Harvin Network, Tony Harvin TV, three channel, Facebook, Tony Fast Hands Harvin, Instagram. Same name. I'm definitely appreciative of this interview, and I thank you for having me on here.
You're so welcome. And remember, all your past may explain your story, but it doesn't have to define your future. Until next week, this is Moving Forward Talk. God bless.
Thank you.
You're welcome.